I thought buying a home was all about saving for the down payment, until I found out the real money traps start after you think you can afford the house. Before you buy a home in the US in 2026, watch this. If you're thinking about buying a home in the United States this year, there's one thing you need to understand before you look at a single listing, before you call an agent, and definitely before you fall in love with a kitchen on Zillow. The biggest mistake most buyers make is not choosing the wrong house. It's misunderstanding the game they're actually playing. Because buying a home is not just about finding a place you like. It's about understanding financing, timing, leverage, risk, monthly cash flow, hidden costs, negotiation power, and the difference between a home that feels affordable and a home that actually protects your future. And that difference can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. A lot of people still approach buying a house like this. They find a monthly payment that looks manageable, they assume the bank knows best, they get emotionally attached to one property, and then they rush through the process hoping everything works out. That is exactly how smart people make expensive real estate decisions. So in this video, I want to give you a different approach. Not hype, not fear, not buy now or be priced out forever, and not wait forever until the perfect market shows up. Just a clear, real-world home buying playbook for the US market, especially if you're a first-time buyer, moving up, relocating, or trying to decide whether buying this year actually makes sense for you. By the end of this video, you'll know how to think about affordability the right way, how to avoid the most common loan and budgeting traps, how to shop smarter, how to protect yourself in negotiations, and how to make sure the house you buy helps your life instead of trapping your income. Let's start with the first truth most buyers learn too late. Rule number 1, stop shopping for houses and start shopping for reality. Most people begin with the dream. They open Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, or Instagram, and they start building a fantasy around finishes, square footage, islands, backyards, and school districts. But before you shop for a house, you need to shop for your real monthly life. Because a house payment is never just the mortgage. It's principal, interest, property taxes, homeowner's insurance, possibly mortgage insurance, utilities, repairs, HOA dues if the neighborhood has them, landscaping, pest control, appliance replacement, water heaters, roof issues, plumbing surprises, and all the tiny costs nobody thinks about when they're standing in a beautifully staged living room. This is the question you should ask first. Not, what can I qualify for, but what can I comfortably carry without shrinking the rest of my life? Those are two completely different numbers. A lender may approve you for an amount that works on paper. That does not mean it works for your actual life. Your real number has to leave room for groceries, travel, retirement savings, emergency reserves, childcare, student loans, car repairs, and the ability to breathe. Because the worst kind of homeownership is not being broke before you buy. It's becoming broke after you close. And once that happens, the house stops feeling like security and starts feeling like pressure. So before you tour homes, build your real housing budget. Include everything. And if that number feels lower than what a lender might approve you for, that's not bad news. That's clarity. Rule number 2, don't confuse pre-approval with strategy. Yes, you need pre-approval. In most US markets, serious sellers expect it. It shows that a lender has reviewed your financial picture and that you're not just guessing. But too many buyers treat pre-approval like a finish line. It's not. It's a tool. And a tool only helps if you use it intelligently. The smart move is not getting one pre-approval and moving on. The smart move is comparing lenders, comparing fees, comparing loan structures, and understanding what kind of debt you're actually signing up for. Because two lenders can offer you what looks like the same mortgage and still produce very different outcomes over time. A better question than, what rate did they quote me, is this. What are the total loan costs? What fees are built in? Is the rate locked? How much cash do I need at closing? What happens to this payment if taxes or insurance rise? And how long would I need to stay in this home for this loan to make sense? That's how adults shop for mortgages, not by chasing the prettiest rate on a screen. A low rate with high fees can be more expensive than a slightly higher rate with better structure. And if you don't understand that, you're not comparing loans, you're comparing marketing. Rule number 3, your down payment is important, but your reserves may matter more. This is where a lot of buyers get into trouble. They believe the goal is to throw every available dollar into the down payment because that feels responsible. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's a disaster. Because if buying the house leaves you with no liquidity, then one major repair can wreck your financial stability. The HVAC fails, the sewer line needs work, The roof starts leaking, the electrical panel needs updating, the insurance deductible hits at the same time your car needs repairs. Welcome to homeownership. This is why cash reserves matter so much. You do not want to become a homeowner and immediately lose flexibility. And this is also why buyers need to stop treating 20% down like a moral requirement. A bigger down payment can absolutely help in the right situation. It can lower your monthly payment, reduce financing costs, and make your offer stronger. But the best down payment is not always the biggest one. The best down payment is the one that helps you buy responsibly while still protecting your emergency cushion. Real estate rewards people who can stay stable, not people who look strong on closing day and become fragile 30 days later. Rule number 4. Don't buy a payment, buy a position. This one is huge. A lot of buyers walk into the market saying, if the payment is manageable, I'm good. No, not necessarily. A manageable payment does not automatically mean you're making a good purchase. You have to look at the position you're buying. Ask yourself, is this a home I can reasonably stay in for at least 5 to 7 years? Is the neighborhood stable, improving, or declining? Am I overpaying because of emotion or urgency? Would I still want this home if prices stayed flat for a while? If I had to sell in 3 years, what would the exit look like? Can I afford this home at today's rate without depending on a future refinance to rescue me? That last question matters a lot, because a refinance is a strategy option, not a guarantee. If rates improve later, great, that can help. But never buy a home assuming the future will bail out a purchase that doesn't work today. Buy based on what is true now. That is how you protect yourself. Rule number 5. Fall in love with numbers before you fall in love with a house. The house is emotional. The decision cannot be. And if you want to buy smart, you need a written framework before you start touring. Your maximum all-in monthly housing number, your walk-away price, your must-haves, your deal breakers, your acceptable commute, your non-negotiable inspection issues, your minimum reserve amount after closing. Write it down. Because once you step into a home that smells like fresh cookies, has the perfect light in the kitchen, and looks exactly like your Pinterest board, your brain will start negotiating against your own standards. That's what emotion does. It makes exceptions feel reasonable. It tells you the budget can stretch just a little. It tells you the inspection concern is probably minor. It tells you the neighborhood issue won't matter that much. It tells you the extra HOA fee is worth it. Maybe it is. But maybe you're about to rationalize a weak deal because the house made you feel something. Feelings are part of buying a home, but your standards have to exist before your feelings arrive. Rule number 6. The house is not the only thing you're buying. You're buying the block, the area, and the future friction. A beautiful home in the wrong location can quietly become one of the worst financial decisions you ever make. And I'm not just talking about crime or school ratings. I'm talking about lifestyle friction. How long is the commute really? How does traffic feel at 8 a.m. on a Tuesday? What is the noise level at night? Are there short-term rentals all over the area? Are property taxes rising fast? Is the neighborhood easy to resell or highly specific? Are you buying the nicest house in a weak area? What does future inventory look like nearby? Are there signs of deferred maintenance on surrounding homes? What kind of buyers would want this home if you had to sell later? This is where mature buyers separate themselves from impulsive buyers. They don't just ask, do I like this house? They ask, does this location support my life now, and does it protect my exit later? Because eventually, almost every buyer becomes a seller, and smart buying starts with that in mind. Rule number 7. Your inspection is not a formality. It is your leverage window. Never treat due diligence like a box to check. The inspection period is one of the most important moments in the entire transaction because it is one of the last times you still have meaningful leverage. Once you close, almost every problem becomes your problem. So slow down here. Read the report. Ask questions. Bring in specialists when needed. Understand the age of the roof, HVAC, plumbing, foundation, and electrical system. Look beyond cosmetic fixes. Pay attention to moisture, grading, drainage, and signs of repeated patchwork. And let me say this clearly. A house can show beautifully and still hide expensive issues. Fresh paint does not equal a healthy property. A nice kitchen does not mean the sewer line is clean. A staged living room does not mean the foundation is stable. The inspection is not there to kill the deal. It is there to reveal the truth of the deal. And once you know the truth, then you can negotiate intelligently. Maybe the seller fixes items. Maybe you ask for credits. Maybe you renegotiate price. Maybe you walk away. Walking away is not losing. Overpaying for a problem you ignored is losing. Rule number 8. In a shifting market, negotiation matters more than people think. A lot of buyers still behave like every market is the frenzy market. They assume they need to waive protections, bid emotionally, rush their terms, and act grateful just to be considered. Sometimes speed matters. Sometimes competition is real. But many buyers carry old market fear into a different environment and end up giving away power they didn't need to surrender. Negotiation is not just about price. It's about seller credits, closing cost help, repair requests, rate buydowns, timelines, appliances, possession terms, inspection flexibility, contingency structure. A strong deal is built from all of those pieces. And if you have the right representation, the right preparation, and the right discipline, you can often improve your outcome in ways most buyers never think to ask for. That's why your real estate agent matters so much. Not because they open doors, because they protect position. A strong buyer's agent can help you identify overpriced listings, interpret market behavior, structure cleaner offers, read seller motivation, and keep you from making an emotional decision that feels good for 24 hours and expensive for 10 years. The wrong agent just helps you get under contract. The right agent helps you avoid the wrong contract. That difference is everything. Rule number 9. Understand what homeownership is supposed to do for you. This is the part people skip. They ask, should I buy? But the better question is, what role is this home supposed to play in my life? Is it stability? A longer-term family home? A better school district? Control over your living space? A fixed housing payment? A wealth-building tool over time? A lifestyle upgrade? A relocation decision? A stepping stone property? Because once you know the job the home is supposed to do, your decisions get cleaner. You stop chasing random perfection. You stop shopping with vague expectations. You stop comparing every house to a fantasy. And you start evaluating homes based on fit, function, cost, and long-term usefulness. That is how smart buyers stay grounded. A house does not need to be perfect. It needs to be appropriate. Appropriate for your income. Appropriate for your timeline. Appropriate for your risk tolerance.